Hello and welcome to everybody on Cloud Fitness. So in today's video of Python series, we are going to see what are kwargs and args in Python. So what are these arguments and what are these keyword arguments in Python, why they are actually used, and we are also going to see the usage of these two. So let's move ahead to our PyCharm editor, which we have been using from quite some time for all our videos, right? So we have been creating the whole we have been actually understanding each and every concept in the Python using the PyCharm editor. In case you have not watched my previous videos in the Python series, I do recommend watching them one by one so that each of your concept in Python gets very clear. Okay, so let's come on to this arguments and the keyword arguments. So whenever you have a function and you want to pass multiple variables to an argument. Whenever you have a Python function and you want to pass multiple variables to an argument, to a variable, how can you do that? You can actually use non-keyword arguments and the keyword arguments to do so. So right now, if you look at the function over here, right? So this is the function which uses argument, but in fact, even before using this, let me try to show you how you can actually, without non-keyword arguments and keyword arguments, you would do that, right? So let's say I have these arguments a, comma b, comma again, let's say f, comma g, comma h. So let's say these are the different arguments that I have, right? Now, in case, let me remove this for loop. And let's say if I want to pass in the arguments over here, and let's say I want to print a over here, and let's say this is my a, this is my b, this is my f, this is my g, and let's say this is my h, for example. So now if you see over here, this is a function that is created. Now let me run this. So whatever you want to do inside a function, you can check the output over here, right? Let me comment out this part as well and then rerun this. Again, now let me run this and check what the output is. Now you can see it has printed a, but how this function has been written, check this very thoroughly. So you have a function 1. Inside this function 1, you have passed in a, b, f, g and h. So these are different variables that you are passing. These are the different parameters which you are passing inside a function, and you have manually written all these parameters. Now let's say in future you want to increase it. Then what you need to do is you need to manually come here, right, and increase the argument. Let's say j, let's say k, right, and then you might have to pass in the values over here, let's say 1, 2, right? This is one way. But let's say you have a very big program, right? In that case, like you are writing, let's say, a gaming program, in that it will become very difficult for you to actually go ahead and if you have 1,000 parameters, to manually type in those 1,000 parameters within the function. Right now, to solve this particular problem, that is why you have these keyword and non-keyword arguments. Right now, let's move on to that particular piece of function which I was showing you earlier. So now if you look at this particular function, right, if you see, this is function 01. Right now, this function 01, it is taking in the arguments, it is taking in all the values that you are providing over here. So if you see, right, it says star argv, right? So this is nothing but this is a star symbol, and it is not like you have to always use args. It is just a reference. You can use any word over here. Right now, using this, what you can do is, when you are calling a function, you can pass n number of values inside it. Now these values go as parameters to these functions, and your function can actually use it. So you actually skipped this particular portion of manually typing in all the variables over here, all the parameters over here, right? So you have skipped that particular path. Instead of that, you have used args. This is called args. Now args doesn't mean that you always have to use args. You can use any name. You can also use bhavna, for example, right? So for example, let's say even if I remove this, I say bhawana, right? Of course, here also I have to use bhawna because I'm iterating through the list of these values which I'm providing over here, right? So now let's run this particular function and see how does it look like. So now you can actually see that it has printed red, blue, pink and yellow. So this is nothing but this is the usage of args. Now let's say you have this function, right? Let's say you have this function. Now instead of these variables, you also want to pass a fixed variable, right? You want to pass a default variable, a fixed variable. Let's say you want to do that. Now how do you do that? Now for that I have written another function for you all. So let me uncomment this and see how does it look like. Now you can actually see I'm using same colors, okay? I'm using a function 2, right? Now inside that function 2 I am saying star args, right? Args v, and before that I'm giving one argument arg1. Now this is not star argument, okay? This is not a non-keyword argument, okay? So this arg is called as, the star arg is called as non-keyword argument, okay? It is called a non-keyword argument, and without star, right, it is just a argument. It is just a parameter which has been provided to your function. Now let's say you write it in this way, right? You write it in this way, and then just like above I am just looping through my whatever is present inside my argy. Now when I'm looping it and I'm calling my function, I have provided the first value as list of colors, right? Now this list of colors goes as argument 1. This list of colors goes as argument 1, and rest all others go as these non-keyword arguments. So now if I run it, now you will see what happens over here, right? Next argument through, right? This is just the text that I have written over here, right? The colors are list of colors, right? If you see my argument 1 which I am printing, what it is taking as an argument 1, it is taking my first argument which I have provided here while calling the function as the argument 1. Rest all it is taking as red, blue, pink, yellow as the non-keyword arguments. So this is how you can actually provide a default parameter, a default argument while calling a function. This is how you can actually do that. And remember that this is sequential. You cannot do things like, you cannot put your non-keyword argument first and the other argument later on. You can't put it like this. You cannot put it like this and run. It is going to throw you error, right? It has to be always like that your argument, the fixed argument that you want to provide should come first, and then your keyword or non-keyword argument should come, right? Now this is nothing but this is your non-keyword argument that you are passing by using one star symbol. Now let's say if you use 2 star symbols, right, instead of 1 star symbol, that is called as keyword arguments. So let me uncomment this part and show you how keyword arguments work, right? So if you see, this is a function 3. I am using star kwargs. It is also called as kwargs, or it is also called as keyword argument, right? Now what is keyword argument? Basically you can think it of as a dictionary, as an input. So these keyword arguments takes the values which have a key associated to it. So in dictionary format, I have already made videos on dictionary. You already know that dictionary is nothing but it is a form of a key value pair. So in case of args, they are just taking the direct argument, the direct value. In case of kwargs, it takes key and the value both. So if you see over here, the function takes these kwargs as an input. Now what is this kwarg? This kwarg is nothing but, if you see, color 1 is the key, red is the value, color 2 is the key, blue is the value, color 3 is the key, pink is the value. And now for key comma value in kwarg.items, right, it is just printing the key and value. Now let me simply run it. Now these are the basic lines of code which I have already discussed in my previous videos regarding dictionary, how to fetch values from a dictionary using dot items. So this is how this I expect that you have already watched my previous videos and you have already reached to a point where you can understand these lines already, right? So now you can see it has printed color 1 red, color 2 blue, color 3 pink, right? It has already printed. So these are keyword arguments. Now can we use keyword, non-keyword and the default argument together? Yes, we can do that. So now let me simply show you how it can be done. Now let me uncomment this part. Now if you look at this particular line or this particular function, so you can see this function 0 4, it is taking first as the x. It is taking the first parameter as x, then it is using your args, then it is using your kwargs, and this is the sequence. You cannot use anything before another. So this has to go sequential. Similarly, you can see, and then in the function 4, when I'm calling this function, I am passing team, right? I'm just passing in the values over here, red, blue, pink, and then now if you see this red, blue and pink, these are nothing but these are the direct values which will go to args, and then this is nothing but this is a key value pair, right, which goes in kwargs, right? And x by default it will take your team, right? Now you can see I'm printing what is the value of my x, right? Just to demonstrate, I'm printing the value of x, and then I am looping through my args, and then I'm looping through my kwargs to show you how does it work. So now let me run this, and now you can actually check how does my output look like. Now you can actually see it says hi team, right? Hi, and I have provided this x value over here. Now this x is coming from here, right? It has taken the default variable, and then for I in args, the color is now by default all the corresponding values it is taking as args, right? And after that all the corresponding values with key value pairs it is taking as kwargs, and it is saying color 1 is red, color 2 is blue, color 3 is pink. So this is how your kwargs and args work. Okay, the names need not be same. You can put any name. You can say Bhavna here, you can say Bedi over here. Okay, what matters is this star word, this star and double star, which defines that okay, this is arg and this is kwarg. So I hope you like this particular video. In case you want to understand it a bit more, I would recommend you watch the video again at a bit slower pace, so that whatever I have understood you can replicate as well on your system, and it will be much easier for you to learn it as well. In case you have not understood it in one go, it is completely okay to watch it again and practice it. So I hope you like this video, and do remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel.